This is sketchy. Conditions like this can be incredibly frustrating. Got an amazing scene, beautiful north coast of Cornwall, St Agnes village, Trevornance Cove down ahead of me. But it's misty, it's murky, mizzly, quite breezy as well. But I'd really like to capture some of the essence of what this is like, because this is Cornwall in the off season at the end of the day. So somehow I need to lean into the fact that the light is flat. There's no real contrast. There's no even real sort of subject that, like Borden Rocks in the background there, is looking spectacular in its mistiness. But I don't know whether you even see it on the camera because it's so shrouded in cloud. So that's some of the essence, that's some of the story that I want to get across in a shot. But I haven't quite worked out how to do it yet. I think we need to wander on, get closer to the coastline. So I have a kind of notion of the type of shot. I'm going to swap out to my 20mm lens just to get a little bit more of the scene in. I wish I had my 17-40 with me, but that is always the way of it. Very mizzly today, so I'm going to be a bit careful swapping these lenses. Too long. Okay, right. Let's see how we get on with this. It's such a massive scene. That I just can't get it in even at 20mm. So what I'm going to try and do, don't know whether this is going to work, but handhold a panorama, probably I'd reckon about 8 shots we'll see in post to get the whole scene in, stretching around to this bay. I have to be really careful because it is a crumbly cliff here, so I'm not going to get the tripod too close to the edge. Going to look after my own safety first, take some shots, and then we'll try and put them together as a panorama in post. Wish me luck. So I'm locking in on manual. ISO of 320 seems to be about right. F8 and 125th of a second. Then I'm going to methodically go through. All like my little DJI drone doing this. Remember where I am and readjust my balance. The grimness is intensified, and and the wind is increasing, so it's no longer safe to be next to the edge. It's time to head back inland to a bit of safety. You have to be super careful when moving around on the Cornish coastline, because you might come up against one of these. This is actually a reasonably safe one because it's been capped. You can see the cage around the top. There's plenty of mine shafts out here which are not or aren't known about. So one of the things that I'm always thinking about, and it's not great for maintaining eye contact with the camera, is just constantly scanning, looking for any dips, anything a little bit untoward, because to get into the right position sometimes you have to get a little bit off the path. And as soon as you do that, sometimes even on the path, to be fair, you're running the risk of tangling with a mine shaft, and we don't want that. So if you see me looking quite distracted as I'm walking around, that's why. I don't want to fall down a mine shaft. Always best avoided. So back out of that mizzly weather, back in the studio. I've loaded the images into Lightroom, so let's jump in and start linking them all together. So here we are with my set of images in Lightroom. I'm going to leave this one here out because it doesn't really have an opposite number on the up. So I've just got 10 images now, and we right click, go to photo merge, and we're going for a panorama. Then we'll have a good old think about it. Create us a preview. There we are. Got a big disconnect with this line here. It's very hard for it to work out the sea in these misty conditions because it's got no hard edges to go by, so we might have to do something about that. Got a lot of the edges in. We've missed out this bottom bit, which I did photograph, and the reason for that is it's had a go at auto cropping it. So if I switch that off, we get more a sense of how it's put it together to get the whole scene. So we either need to crop bits out or fill bits in if we want to cheat it a little bit to sort that out. It's in spherical format at the moment. Let's just see what it looks like in cylindrical. I think I prefer that, although it's kind of warping the perspective a little bit. Somehow it kind of draws you into this big bay, so I think I'm going to stick with that, and we might just see how it does with filling edges. I would imagine it will struggle because it's quite, well, there you go. It hasn't struggled that much, has it? That's done a pretty good job of filling in that terrain. We've got a definite duplicate here. But let's keep it like that because we can mess around with that afterwards. Let's just warp the boundaries a little bit. Yeah, prefer that. Taking it up bit by bit. A bit too much. Yeah, I think that gives us a good starting point. Let's go to merge, and let's chunk that away and created us this image here. Considering all this is just filled in, is pretty extraordinary. So one thing we do have to watch out for is strange articles like this, where it's made best guess, but it's put loads of islands that aren't actually there. So I'll go back to my original images. I know that a lot of that is fake, so I'm going to take that out. And the other thing it's struggled with, I did notice one of the images couldn't merge, is the blending line here is quite awkward, and it's given our horizon a big dip, so I'll try and sort that out in post. But I will leave that for another video. Hopefully that's given a sense of putting it together. And what I'll do now is put it into the develop module and start editing it up as any other image, see what we come out with.